We have some updates on VHS 99 as well as Halloween Ends. Let's get into it.
Well, sometimes that is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today we're talking a little bit about Halloween Ends and VHS 99, giving little updates on both of these puppies. Now, if you're just here for Halloween Ends, that's cool because there's little chapters on the bottom of this page. You can skip around in the video to whatever you're looking for. Before we get into all this though, if you guys can like this video and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate that. I am very excited for the next installment in the anthology horror franchise VHS, with VHS 99 coming out on October 20th. The film recently had its premiere at TIFF, and the reviews are already starting to roll out. Now, I found a review from Nightmarish Conjurings that doesn't really get into spoilers, but kind of gives us a feel of what these 5 segments are going to be this time around. And I gotta say, some of these are pretty exciting, but some of it feels like more of the same. Let's get into it and I'll talk about why. The first segment is Shredding, written and directed by Maggie Levin. It concerns the young members of a snotty rock band that don't bother to practice and spend most of their time making videos to promote themselves. The lead singer is entranced with the power of her video camera, and the members egg each other on to crueler and more daring stunts for the camera. They practice and go on tour, but are met with a tragic end that is seen woven in via videotape. So that to me sounds like the wraparound segment, the segment that in the VHS films you just keep cutting back to. A big criticism of this franchise, in my opinion, is that the wraparound segment usually is pretty inconsistent, doesn't really make any sense. It's kind of just there to connect all of the other segments together. This time around, it seems like we're actually following some type of story that isn't just nonsense, and that to me is a massive step up. I know that sounds like a really harsh criticism of this entire franchise, but that's really my only big complaint. I love pretty much everything else that the series has to offer, as well as giving chances to younger filmmakers and giving us some crazy original shit in a landscape of horror that can kind of feel like the same old sometimes. The second segment is Suicide Bid, written and directed by Johannes Roberts. It takes the idea of college hazing and constructs a tale of claustrophobic terror and cruelty. It's about wanting to be accepted and the lengths that some people will go to achieve that doubtful honor. Bad ideas get worse due to unforeseen circumstances, and Robert's focus on a single human face ratchets up the intensity of the scares. This is the first actual segment in the entire movie, so I'm assuming it's going to be good, just like Storm Drain from the last one, or think Amateur Night from the original movie. These are typically some of the best segments in the entire film. And it's coming from writer-director Johannes Roberts, who is so criminally underrated in my opinion. If you haven't seen Strangers Pray at Night or Welcome to Raccoon City, I highly recommend both those movies. Absolute bangers. The article also goes on to criticize late 90s horror movies and how this segment is essentially that, but way better in half the time. So that's a hot take right there coming from this article. I'm really excited for this one, and I'm speculating this may be one of the best ones in the entire movie. The third segment is Ozzy's Dungeon, directed by Flying Lotus and written by Flying Lotus and Zoe Cooper. It takes the idea of a low-budget game show that likes to humiliate its contestants with the promise of a reward that no one has ever managed to win. This one seems pretty mysterious and the one that this article praises the most, so I'm expecting to like this one probably the most because I'm a huge Flying Lotus fan. I love his movie Clouseau. It's so disgustingly hilarious. I had a blast with that one on Shudder too, so if you're getting Shudder for VHS 99, you might want to check out Clouseau too. It's kind of a required viewing before you watch this one, I think. If you want to kind of understand Flying Lotus's style a little better, that's what you're in for with this segment essentially. Like I said at the beginning of this video, this article is pretty vague about all these, which I really appreciate because I don't want you to spell out everything about these segments before I see them, but I do like having these brief little plot synopsises. Synopsises? Is that even a word? I don't know. But just like a lot of other Flying Lotus projects, I'm sure that this is going to be very darkly funny and also just absolutely balls to the wall disgusting, which ya boy is here for. The fourth segment is Gawkers, directed by Tyler McIntyre and written by McIntyre and Chris Lee Hill. This segment takes the idea used frequently during the 80s and 90s that boys just want to have fun. And part of that fun is trying to sneak looks at women's and girls' private parts without them knowing. So after reading that, it just reminds me about all the segments in VHS 1 that are so similar to this. Like just about every dude character besides in the Radio Silence segment in that original VHS is like a super horn dog that's going after girls. And it's kind of the same setup every single time. I'm really hoping that this isn't just the exact same thing as something like Amateur Night or like Tuesday the 17th from that original VHS that feel very much like this. this, you're basically explaining those same segments to me once again in the 5th installment. I hope they don't replay that same beat. It's really only because I've seen this so many times in the franchise, I want them to branch out and do something different. All of these other segments so far seem like something different and something really cool, but I'm starting to get worried about it now with this one. The 5th and final segment is To Hell and Back, written and directed by Vanessa and Joseph Winters. This segment is really quite amazing because they pull off a cinematic magic trick that doesn't seem like it should work, but it works like gangbusters. This segment has everything including Go-Gurt. You heard it here first, folks. Go-Gurt in VHS 99. I'm sold. Take my money. The segment is about a bickering set of videographers with a character named Mabel who also joins in on the fun. This is the segment that's all about Y2K and it's right at the end here, so I'm assuming that it's going to end in disaster. I don't know if the end of this movie could actually result in like the entire world exploding, because then like who found the footage here? But I also don't think that this movie cares too much about that too. So who knows? We'll have to see how this one plays out. Regardless, I am unbelievably excited for VHS 99. VHS 94 was my favorite horror film of last year, so I'm really excited to see what they do this time around. It's gonna be pretty hard to top Barbarian though from this year, because that was like a fucking masterpiece in my opinion. Getting into a Halloween Ends update though, Jamie Lee Curtis has just posted a new picture on her Instagram showing us a very concerned Laurie Strode. Curtis captioned the picture on Instagram saying what she has seen at Halloween movie at Peacock TV 1014. And I just have a few comments about this, because in the background we can see that like maybe she's at home and she's decorating for Halloween. We even got this behind the scenes picture of what is essentially Laurie Strode holding a pumpkin that's carved and she's smiling. Does anyone else find that weird? Am I the only person who's like, okay, I get it, she's over her trauma, but I don't think she would be celebrating Halloween now at this point. That's like having your family getting murdered on your birthday and then continuously celebrating your birthday with glee like nothing happened on this day ever. I know that's like a really dark metaphor, but I think it totally works here, and it's just a little weird to see Laurie Strode like all excited about Halloween now. That's just kind of fucking bizarre to me. The more interesting thing to focus on though with this post is Jamie Lee Curtis's caption where she says what she has seen. What the fuck does that mean? Are we just talking about past events where Michael has murdered people right in front of her, especially her loved ones? Or are we talking about some current shit that actually happens in this movie? Now, typically, if they had released just this image, I wouldn't do like a whole big ol' nasty video about it, but what's fascinating about it is you can connect it to yet another weird picture, this one right here with Laurie and Allison. This was a picture that came out recently as well, and no, it's not a picture of Allison strangling Laurie, although at first glance, I can see why you might think that. I thought it myself. For a second, I got worried those Allison rumors were true, that she was gonna put on the mask at the end of the movie and now she's the evil. Please fucking God, no. But we do know that this is in the same room as where Allison was with Laurie in a different shot, possibly even a different scene, or maybe the same scene. This picture does have me kind of concerned for Laurie Strode though, considering how much Jamie Lee Curtis is posting about this movie. It's almost like this is the end of Laurie. Could this be the end of the character? She dies at the end killing Michael. Because according to the soundtrack, one of the last songs is called The Procession. Now earlier on I had teased that maybe this was Allison's funeral, but I feel like it might be more fitting for it to be Laurie's funeral and it's like all of her friends there instead, like mourning her. Because if just Michael dies at the end of this movie, I don't think that they're gonna have this big sad funeral to be the last thing we see from this franchise. Oh no, oh Michael's dead, oh so sad, we can't make any more money. That could actually be kind of meta, that would be kind of funny actually, but I don't think they're going that route. We've already had it teased to us twice now in not only the last movie and in some of the marketing for Halloween Ends that Laurie Strode is basically obsessed with killing Michael Myers and she doesn't care if she goes down with him. So they've teased that to us twice now. They have said that in our faces very blatantly twice now, not only in the marketing, but also there's a whole line drop with that in Halloween Kills. So is that how it's going to end, and are they already foreshadowing this? I'm honestly kind of banking on it, and that makes me a little sad. I wish they hadn't have made it so blatantly obvious like that. Like if they wanted to do that, cool, do it once. That's fine. Like, listen, audiences are way smarter than people would think. Like, people don't miss that kind of shit. Casual moviegoers may forget something like that, and that's understandable to make that argument, but like, there are longtime fans of this series who have watched these two David Gordon Green movies already like a million fucking times and have caught on to things like that. So to repeat yourself so many times to do like a little foreshadowing thing, it just makes it a little too blatantly obvious as to what's going to happen in this film. I feel like it's almost undeniable that that's how this movie is is going to end at this point. I just wish they hadn't released the soundtrack. I wish that Universal was just a little better at marketing and didn't spoil literally everything about the movie in a bunch of their TV spots, man. I mean, I'm glad that there's not an entire other trailer yet that is going to spoil everything, but I guarantee you that's coming too, which makes me pretty fucking upset as a Halloween fan. Hopefully they can pump the marketing brakes sometime soon and chill out with all of these spoilers, but what do you guys think about it? How do you guys think the showdown between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode is gonna go down though? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this brand new Halloween Ends update. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Also, if you want to support this page further, make sure to support me on either Patreon or become a channel member by clicking that join button on my page. Thank you guys for watching again, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.